Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends. Wild finish to the national title game, NFL playoffs including recap and predictions, NBA news including the disappearing act of Derrick Rose, the Royal Rumble losing steam as the entrants pile on, and why do we, the fans, hate Roman Reigns? Starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Debates Among Friends, live on Mixlr. We're so glad you decided to join us tonight. This is the 34th edition of this podcast, and we're happy you decided to join us. I am known as Professor John Gotti, and by my side, Mr. Wednesday Night himself, the Baron of 2017, and all around the greatest man that ever lived. It's the Doctor. How you doing tonight, Doctor?
I was doing good until you built me up just now.
I mean, it's all about building up space mountains because, as we say, we're both 2 hours of fellas.
All right, now. You were close. You were close there.
I was a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. We're rolling now. Let's just pick up the steam. Let's get ourselves straight into it. Let's debate. The national title game.
You had a bar ready.
Yeah, we had ourselves quite the national title game on Monday.
We did.
It was some laughters, it was some tears, it was some rage, a lot of rage after the game all over social media. The salt was real out there, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree. I don't know what was going on. I mean, obviously, the reads just weren't there. I think last week you thought Alabama would win it because of their defense. I felt, Clemson would come away because they were hot. With the defense stepping up, they really got some pressure after Watson, and when it came down to it, they just let him off the hook.
And they let him off the hook. You're completely right, sir. I mean, I literally said this all night on Monday. Alabama's defense got tired. Almost 100 plays were ran by the Clemson offense. That within itself, you don't really see that with even NFL games.
Well, I think people crowned the Crimson Tide before the actual game, and if you want to crown them, then crown them. But Clemson did not let them off the hook.
They did not. In fact, not only did people crown them already, people already written off the game. And we was talking as the game was coming along, and we kept going back and forth. And I believe at one instance, I reached out to you and I said, "Hey, they're about to get a touchdown and win this game right now."
Well, that's not how it really happened. I mean, really, I said your reads are in jeopardy.
Which it were.
Technically, it was, because you said, and I called that Bama would win. They played some great defense on the whole game. I mean, anybody, 100 plays is ridiculous. I mean,
exactly.
Any team, any defense, 100 plays is a lot. So,
but that was my point. I said Alabama will win if their defense managed to maintain 3-4 quarters. They would need to maintain 4 quarters.
But in this particular situation, win, a loss, a read must stay intact. Like, I'm going to have to admit a read that I was wrong on later. I mean, this just one of those ones he dropped the ball. Shawn Michaels dropped the ball.
Oh my gosh, he went there.
But it was a good game, though, in the second half. I think in the beginning, we were actually playing Borderlands. And then we switched over to the game, which was good. It gave us an opportunity to not see that abysmal first half, because I think we were keeping up the score with Bleacher Report.
Yep.
Shout out to Bleacher Report.
Shout out to Bleacher Report. Always holding it down for us.
But then, I mean, you go back and you look, second half was so much better anyway. We got a chance to see some really, really good teams going back and forth, who I was really proud of. If I'm going to be honest, like 100% honest,
be it.
I was completely impressed by the young quarterback all year. I've been impressed by Alabama's quarterback. The true freshman.
Yep.
I mean, any true freshman comes to play is spectacular, but this guy could be the next quarterback with ice in his veins. Like, I just feel like he has the it factor. Like, he's going to win a championship, whether it be with Alabama or it be with an NFL team. But I'm going to call it right now: Jalen Hurts will be a champion one day.
And I can respect that, actually. I'm totally fine with that. I really am. Like, he was... I mean, yes, they didn't have their top offensive weapon on the field, Scarpo. I mean, he was hurt. He didn't play the rest of the game. I get it. But Jalen Hurts was 13 for 31 for 131. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, stats don't lie. I mean, his adversary, the quarterback he was going up against from Clemson, Deshaun Watson, was 36 for 56, which is insane. And threw for 420 yards. That's video game numbers.
30 completions, I would assume he would have 400-something yards, but you got to keep in mind also that this young quarterback ran. How much was his rushing stats?
He rushed for only 63 yards.
With a big, key, critical run in the fourth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that definitely would have... I think
that's what it was.
Like, if they didn't do what they did right there, like, if Clemson didn't get that last-minute touchdown, then we'll be talking about Alabama again. Like, let's just call it like how it is. We would have talking about Alabama winning another national championship and being the football juggernaut that they've been.
Really, the Duke of football.
The Duke of football, and that's gonna be another thing we're gonna talk about, but not tonight. But let's move on. Speaking of news, we have the divisional games happening this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Quite the interesting wild card weekend, sir. Any games in particular you really enjoyed?
I really did enjoy the Steelers game. I always liked watching the Steelers because they play old school football. Mm-hmm. Obviously, watching Le'Veon Bell run the ball, which I said last week that the Dolphins having a 5-point advantage was pretty ridiculous.
Absolutely.
It was so funny because I saw a video where they had Le'Veon Bell running, and every time he got to the line, it would say "controller disconnected." He stops and then runs. So every time he stopped, it would say "controller disconnected," and then he would start running, and the controller would pick back up. So it was pretty hilarious.
I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the funniest thing I've heard in a while.
And I mean, obviously Antonio Brown dominated, run up and down.
I mean, just those two together, they're changing how you play those two positions completely. Like, it's ridiculous.
The one game that I really wasn't too impressed with, the one team definitely was the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot.
It was really, really terrible.
And I'm lost that game.
I'm sure there are some. If there are some Giant fans on the podcast right now, I know you're probably sitting there like, "How dare you talk about the Giants? Your team didn't even make it." Blah blah blah. Any comments that a now losing team would make.
You know what I gotta say about that? Here's what I gotta say about that. Don't feel salty about it. Your team should have just won the game. They had ample opportunities in the first half alone, and they had dropped balls, key drop passes. Odell Beckham Jr. dropped passes in the end zone.
But think about it. It was exactly what I told you last week. When I think you said if it was a shootout, you felt the Giants would win it, and I said it was the exact opposite.
I would never say that.
You did say that.
No, we can go to the tape there. I know I didn't say that. I said if it was a shootout, the Giants don't want to be in it.
No, sir.
Don't you try to be controversial tonight, sir.
We can go back to the tape.
We
you
can.
Said it's going to be a shootout, but you felt the Giants were going to take it.
No, I said the Giants could take it if they managed to contain Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely not.
Oh my goodness.
Now that fatigue, I know that fatigue is getting to you now. Oh my God. Somebody please put the Professor John Gotti to bed.
Oh my goodness. How dare you, sir?
I remember saying if there was a shootout, that's something the Giants definitely don't want to be in because I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to throw 7 touchdowns on them, which, I mean, kind of looks like it happened.
I mean, he threw 4 for 362. I mean, 25
it was pretty ridiculous. But it wasn't really a great game. The first quarter was,
the first half by itself was bleh. Like, Green Bay really picked it up the second half of the second quarter.
It really was that Mary.
It really was, which I definitely called that one. Right as soon as he escaped the pocket, and he had like another 5 seconds.
It was just pretty ridiculous when that happened.
I was like, he throwing a touchdown. Same thing I said, I think 2 years ago when he did that against the Lions.
Pretty ridiculous, but
in fact, I was so upset because I sat him that day, and I lost my fantasy because of it. I was so salty that week.
Hey, Ron, double check.
Another game that highly disappointed me, to be honest with you, was the Lions and the Seahawks. I mean, it was the Lions just didn't want to play.
The Seahawks game, practice game.
I think it was a practice game.
I mean, ultimately, it really wasn't that great of a game.
It really wasn't. I mean, Russell Wilson did throw for 224 for 2 TDs, but I mean, the Lions did nothing offensively. They did absolutely nothing. Like, I mean, even their defense didn't, like, nothing was working for them. Period. Like,
I mean, do you think it's the situations though where maybe, like, I was starting to think, hey, maybe without Megatron, they were starting to come along.
I think the problem was they're a team that depended too much on a comeback.
That's true.
I think that was their ultimate Achilles heel.
And I think that's only because their lack of offensive weapons, and really they're drawing on people being tired almost.
Yeah. Which, I mean, the Seahawks don't necessarily get too tired. They get more amped up, especially at home.
Definitely, because, they have that 12th man. But the one thing I will say is, in this particular situation, obviously I knew the Seahawks were going to win. I called that one. The one shocker to me really was this Raiders game.
See, that wasn't really a shocker, though. That was more of, I kind of expected this to happen because David Carr is not playing anymore.
But even still, like, I felt that the Raiders' defense could carry them beyond Brock Osweiler's Texans.
I think that was more of a veil. Like, I think the Raiders were more balanced because they had Derrick Carr in as quarterback. Like, with him not there, now they have to hang on that defense. Like, the eye test kind of makes it look like they're better and they could depend on it, but they didn't necessarily perform like they could do it.
I got you.
But looking ahead, though, because we're going to spend way too much time on this, and I know we definitely have to move on. Predictions. True. We have our games coming up this weekend. We have the Seahawks going to the Falcons. Do you think that Seahawks can win one on the road?
I'm not going to lie.
It is on the road this year.
I'm not sure. The Falcons have not played football in so long, but I feel like they might. I feel like they might be able to come out and win, but I'm just not even sure. It depends on which Falcons team comes out to play. They're another team that I don't know about their defensive line play, and it gets a little tricky. But I mean, I think I'm going to go with the Falcons. I think Matt Ryan's been on the chair, and I think that's where we're gonna go. Falcons for the win. Stay in the NFC South.
I'm gonna say the Seahawks. If the Seahawks manage to have that same kind of running game effort, then it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm curious to see what Seahawks team we're going to get on Saturday because we have the really, really good Seahawks team like you've seen last week. But then we have the, lion-esque performance.
I don't remember how to play football, Seahawks.
Exactly. But you know what? Fun decision. I'm also going to say the Falcons just because they're playing at home.
I can understand that. Their fans do get kind of rowdy, so I can definitely understand that.
The second game we have on Saturday is the Texans versus the Patriots.
So it looks like we're going on to the Steelers versus the Chiefs.
The shade! The shade!
I mean, come on, man. Come on. And I think I told somebody this earlier. If the Houston Texans were to beat the Patriots and somehow make it to the Super Bowl, and the Cowboys made it to the Super Bowl, I'm calling conspiracy.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, you should start calling it right now if it happens.
I would be so upset.
Be on Twitter at TLDouble the entire game whenever the Texans are out. Even if it's 3-0 and it's only the first drive of the game, just put up conspiracy theory. Conspiracy!
It would be so ridiculous.
But we both know that the Patriots are pretty much going to demolish them. So, yes, let's move on to the Sunday game. We have the Steelers versus the Chiefs. I think this might be the game of the round.
Yes. Honestly, I don't even know what to call on this one. I mean, the Steelers play really well, but that's against the Dolphins, who, obviously I felt like the Lions shouldn't have been in, the Dolphins shouldn't have been in.
Yeah.
But I think this is another one where it's the Chiefs haven't played football in so long, but the way I don't know, man. Out there, they're really, really balling out there.
I actually agree with you. My pick is still going to be the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs' defense overtakes the Steelers' defense. Even though the Steelers can definitely run up the scoreboard, and the Chiefs are way too conservative, I think the Chiefs have better playmakers on defense that they can definitely turn the tide. Especially, one of my favorite defensive players of recent history is Eric Berry.
True, I can understand that.
So I'm gonna take the Chiefs on this one. I'm gonna give them that chance.
Oh goodness, what to do? I really want to take the Steelers, but I don't feel like they. I don't know. I feel like the Chiefs' offensive line is better than the Dolphins, and I didn't really feel like the Steelers got after the Dolphins quarterback that much outside of that big hit. Obviously Matt Moore is no Tannehill.
I was about to say, come on.
But still, I mean, offensive line. And I thought the Dolphins had a great offensive line, so I don't know. I'm probably gonna stick with the Steelers only because of that same combo of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell.
And I can understand that, but if it's snowing at Arrowhead, absolutely, I'll take Le'Veon Bell or anyone.
Don't be making the criteria.
I'm not. I'm just saying that's something that can be a possibility.
Le'Veon Bell in clear weather, snowy weather, rainy weather.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Chiefs. Oh, absolutely.
Yep. So you're going Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm just saying a factor within the game is that I'm not deviating from my pick.
Anyway, Le'Veon Bell is not running for over 125 yards. There's just somebody shoots off his pinky toe.
Oh my goodness! Shout out to Harlem Knights. And then we have the other game, which I guess everyone's calling the matinee game of the division round. It's the Packers versus the Cowboys out here in Texas.
I'm going to go Packers. I'm not even going to think about this. I'm going Packers.
I'm going Packers as well, too.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not even going to go with the Cowboys haven't played in so long.
No. I'm not going to use that excuse either. I
just don't think they'll beat the Packers twice. I think Aaron Rodgers, he's so mad right now.
A great man once said, right now, I need to go outside the store, and I'm going to throw up.
Oh, my God.
That's what's going to happen if the Cowboys win. I'm going to want to go inside my bathroom and puke because it makes me sick.
I cannot believe you just went there.
Well, I said a great man once said it.
The That's so unbelievable.
Woo!
Shame, John Gotti. Shame on John Gotti, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know what you're talking
That
about.
was a serious moment, sir, and I wasn't feeling well. Anyway, Chris, let's move on. We cut the show.
Cut the show, Steve! Cut it!
No, but we're definitely going back though. I just don't think the Cowboys will get it done. Their offensive line is great, and I think they'll keep Dak upright. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to try to score 40 points on them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope he does that too. And I really, really hope the Cowboys fans learn something this season. They have a lesson in humility.
Yes.
Drink it in, man.
Hilarious.
But let's just keep going on. NBA action. I know we want to talk about this. Derrick Rose went AWOL on my Knickerbockers the other night.
What?
No call, no show. I don't know. I don't know what's up with us. I mean, people have been asking me. I had the people asking me on Twitter, what is it that the Knicks should do? I mean, they're asking, is it because of Melo? Is it because of Hornacek? Is it because of Phil? And I'm like, you can make cases for all three. Often it's the coach that takes the full brunt of the blow, but I think it's Phil and I think it's Melo. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand. Like, something has to give now. And if they end up giving Derrick Rose another contract, I'm going to have to fly to New York.
Just stop it.
And start yelling at people.
Yeah.
I mean,
So not only did he disappear, nobody knew why he disappeared, but then he comes back and says he thought about retiring and is now thinking about a max contract as per Yahoo Sports. If any team gives him a max contract, it would be blasphemy.
it would be sickening.
It would be kind of
And
ridiculous.
if it's my Knicks team,
Granted,
I'm going to be very upset. Very upset.
Granted, he has played better. He hasn't really gotten injured, but I'm looking at your face and I feel like I'm sorry he's coming along. I feel like I'm sorry he's coming along, but
it is.
I'm trying to be sensitive to your New York Knicks.
No, don't be sensitive. This is debates among friends. We don't care about sensitivity. I'm gonna go handle my own Knicks. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna go handle my own Knicks. Give me a second. I'm sorry. You can't sit there and no-show a professional basketball team and expect to get a max contract with that very team? No.
Isn't that shortly after? Isn't that shortly after they benched him for the rookie?
Yes, Ron Baker.
Would you like Ron Baker?
I like Ron Baker, and I've been high on him since he played in college. I was very high on him.
Yeah.
He can make his own shot.
I think
he can pass the ball very well. He's a great individual defender as well too. He just needs more burn.
I agree. I think that he will be a pretty solid player in the NBA. Obviously, it's hard when you are overshadowed by the previous and past stardom of Derrick Rose, and even even the other guards that are on the team. You're working with these guys like Brandon Jennings, and it's like, all right, how do I get my foot in?
Three Melo, D Rose, those four Melo, D Rose, Brandon Jennings, and Joakim, I'll keep Brandon Jennings. He's been balling.
Well, again, I think, and this is why in the offseason, you can go back and listen to the podcast on YouTube, the Debates Among Friends. I said that the Knicks should have went after Dwight Howard rather than Joakim Noah, only because although Dwight's not the same Dwight he used to be, obviously Joakim's not the same person he used to be, but Dwight's still a little more, I'll say, flexible. Where he can actually still run a little bit, jump a little bit. Although Joakim is a great player, still pretty solid. I won't say great. He's a solid player. Obviously, he might be beyond his prime. Yeah.
His offensive game is non-existent. His offensive game is non-existent.
I would say
you can check the stats for that. You can check the stats for that one. I can tell you that right now. His offensive game's not there.
His offensive game has never been there, ever.
But his defensive game is not that good either.
I've seen him play against a pretty solid defense, but apparently you've been saying that he takes a few plays off.
He does,
and that's something that you need to call Jeff. But then it goes back to, hey, is it the player's fault or is it the coach's fault?
Exactly.
Because if you as a coach go and say, hey, this play, you got to see it. If you're taking plays off, you've got to see it.
Hey, all I know is if my name was Coach John Gotti, if you're not running up and down the court, you're sitting at the end of the bench.
That's why we need Professor John Gotti to become Coach John Gotti and take over and become the Duke of your town.
I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they can handle a Joe Clark type personality.
Oh my God!
Free Mr. Clark! Free Mr. Clark!
They used to call me crazy. Now they call me Batman. But yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that if Derrick Rose max contract anywhere outside of the 76ers, I think that would be crazy.
Would probably be. Okay, I just had this crazy vision in my head, and I'm going to share it. Derrick Rose signed a max contract with the 76ers. The 76ers make the playoffs the very next year, and the year after that, they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
If they get Derrick Rose, they get rid of one of their bigs, anyone except for Embiid, who seems to not fall into that Greg Oden category right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looking like a monster out there. I don't know what's happening with all the other bigs.
Like, a great matchup for a NBA championship one day would be Anthony Davis versus Joel Embiid.
I mean, I think they played each other, if I'm not mistaken. I think they might have played
for a 7-game series, though, my friend. I mean, I'm not gonna toot their own horn or build up their space mountain, but that has potential to be a Wilt versus Kareem.
Pulling out the big guns.
Potential.
Pulling out the big guns.
Potential.
Wow.
Just because of their ability to work hard on both ends of the floor, the way that they demand so much from their other teammates, and the way that they're leading by example.
You know what? I don't really worry about that, and that's what I think we talked about before. I worry about the supporting cast, and that's why
it's always about the supporting cast. That's why New Orleans going to end up, losing out on Anthony Davis because
that's why I'm hoping that he won't be too old by then. I'm hoping that he won't be too old by then. Like I don't want another Kevin Garnett moment where you go, 15 years before even. I'm serious though. Like I want to. Like right now, I read a report. Hey, Sacramento Kings are going to give DeMarcus Cousins, over $200 million, and I'm like, how do you build a team around a one player who has $200 million? I know the cap is going up, but how do you build a team around a $200 million player?
I don't know. You should ask the Ravens.
Oh my God, Professor John Gotti.
You see what I did there?
You went there. Oh my God.
See what I did?
And you want to know what they did though? I mean, they, it was a little easier for them because Ray Lewis retired. T-Sizzle's about done. He's over there working with The Rock and filming Ballers somewhere.
Oh,
I mean, they have Steve Smith who's retiring. You bring in Mike Wallace, who's probably making something pretty low. They cut the running back. They bring the running back back. So really, it's in NFL it might be a little different.
Yeah.
But in basketball, they got Darren Collison. They got a few players there who they had to be separated last night. DeMarcus Cousins. If it's me, as the Knicks should do, as a few teams should do. It might be just time to start over.
Which I'm okay with. I still think that our young guns in New York...
Listen, the Knicks is different. The Knicks are different, though.
But the problem with the Knicks is they rebuild, but they rebuild the wrong way.
I agree. Think about it. They would get rid of Melo right now. They trade Melo right now. They get themselves a nice, small forward, shooting guard, however they want to do it.
Well, I don't know if you've seen my Twitter feed, but they was talking about rumors of Danilo Gallinari.
Oh my God!
Wilson Chandler. Being on the trade block, so I tweeted back and I put the Knicks on my tweet saying, "Don't make the same mistake twice."
Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Could you imagine when you trade him back to Denver?
I'll be so mad. I'll be so mad. I'm like, really? Really?
Oh man. I guess this was the trading Kyle Korver, or the Cavs trading for Kyle Korver. Everybody getting in a big stink about that, and now everybody, apparently everybody wants Mike Dunleavy. He's the best player in the league. Everybody wants him. It's ridiculous, but
that's poopy.
Yeah, I know we gotta move on. That's it. I find that to be crazy that everybody all of a sudden calling for Mike Dunleavy. That's really crazy. And now the Hawks are like, oh no, we want him. We really want him. We don't really want him. We just want to trade, increase trade value.
Of course.
It's pretty terrible. It's pretty terrible. But let's move on to the Royal Rumble, sir, where you have a gripe about some old timers.
I mean, let's just call it like how it is. WWE is not how it used to be anymore. And I'm not just saying that as a, kid who grew up in the 90s, born in the 80s, and experienced the Attitude Era firsthand while growing up. I'm saying this as in regards to quality versus quantity versus content versus talent. They have the talent. They refuse to push the talent to get them over with the fans. Apparently, Vince McMahon believes that these superstars don't have enough drawing power, so he keep bringing back all these old timers, giving them titles and title shots. Meanwhile, these people who want to be the man and women are sitting there being like Ryback, saying, "Feed me more. I'm hungry. Let me eat."
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like stirring the pot like James Harden, but they're not getting the opportunities. But then by the time they get the opportunities, whatever push they had or whatever momentum they had with the fans, it's gone. They're just stale, and they're having matches where people are just sitting there staring at them. So awkward.
I just feel like the level of entertainment is not there anymore.
It's not there.
I try to watch. We try to watch. I think we were playing the game, and I think you were watching Raw, and it was making you so angry because of what was happening. Obviously, they brought Shawn Michaels back out, and it just didn't tickle your fancy.
It still has to tickle my fancy. Like, let me tell you when it stopped tickling my fancy was when they had The Rock come back, beat CM Punk for the title, just to drop it a few months later to John Cena at WrestleMania. That's when it started. That was the genesis right there.
See, but you want to know something? I kind of stepped away from wrestling at that time, and somebody posted a question the other day. One of my Facebook friends, he said, "I don't really know who this CM Punk is. Was he a big deal?" And I was like, "Apparently so." Because everybody kept talking about him like he was like the best wrestler pretty much of all time. The way they talk about him, he might not necessarily be that, but the way they talk about him,
but at that point he was the best wrestler, just like how AJ Styles is the best wrestler right now.
That's debatable.
He's gonna win Superstar of the Year. I'm sorry. I mean, Dave Meltzer is gonna give it to him. PWI Pro Wrestling Insider is gonna give it to him. Like, I understand your gripe.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like the same thing when you were talking last week, and I think you said them throwing LeBron James in there was you said them potentially giving the MVP to James Harden or Russell Westbrook was in spite of LeBron James.
Well, I said yes and no to that. I said part of it is because we're tired of seeing LeBron James winning the MVP trophy, and we want to give someone else a chance.
Right. That's the same premise. Because I don't feel that AJ has really done anything but get a push because of who he is and what the WWE lacks.
I completely agree with you. And it's really rare that we agreed within the past 3 weeks. I agree with you
pretty ridiculous.
Because they have nothing left. And it goes back to the first point that I made. They're not giving these people opportunities to do more.
Why are we being robbed of Bray Wyatt? Why are we getting robbed of Bray Wyatt?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. But
at this point, I would love to see. Can we at least get Braun Strowman I'd rather see him as a title holder right now. Let him go in there, dominate people. I think we should just return
But
to
he's still green
the
too.
land of the bigs.
Like, that's the problem.
Hey.
Like, he's still green too. Like, saying that
That's
is
okay.
still saying, like, I'm fine with Roman Reigns being the WWE champion.
Completely different.
Oh my god.
Roman Reigns does the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior head shake. Are you kidding me right now?
You know what? That's a great transition because this question has been going on for the past 2 years.
Yes, man.
I want to know. Our sponsors want to know. Brought to you officially, unofficially by Stella Artois. And even the marks out there in the internet wrestling community want to know what's up with all the hate against Roman Reigns. The doctor says he has the answer.
I think it's a combination of things. Obviously, they build them up too strong. People don't want to see that old 80s style of wrestling where the person gets beat up and then they transition into their comeback with the old style, as you're doing right now, the head shake and then the Hulk Hogan style.
Which that transcended so much when he came back too. Like, as soon as he did that hulking out thing and then he pointed his finger at people, the whole crowd says "you," and it's hilarious, and I loved it.
It was great, but it's like nobody wants to see that anymore. Like,
no.
people want catchy phrases, and they want something that they can chant. You know, they can't chant a head shake. You know, like he's still wearing the shield armor.
Yep.
He hasn't. Everybody else has kind of moved on. You know, we got Wacky Man over here, we got the Architect over here, but we still got Shield Roman Reigns, who basically is stuck into an 80s sitcom right now.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was happy to see him lose the title. Not because, hey, everybody hates Roman, but more because we needed something different. I didn't really want Jericho to win it. I didn't want Kevin Owens to win it, but he couldn't hold his title any longer because there's nothing happening. Like,
He
his
didn't really
promos
defend
aren't
the
that
title.
great.
He barely brings it to the ring.
They might as well left it with Rusev.
Exactly, like Rusev had momentum. Every
Either
time
left it with
Rusev had
Rusev-
momentum, someone knocks it down.
I feel like I forget who Rusev was battling
And
before
it's
he did.
ironic because the two people who brought him back down again were Roman Reigns and his name's John Cena! John Cena.
I'm trying to figure out who Rusev was battling before, because Rusev was hot at one point. Like, he was really on,
In
you
fact,
know. Like,
Rusev was
I don't know what happened.
We got
He burned him. He was. And I don't really understand why they took him out. Like, he was a champ for a while. Like, he defended it for a while. Mm-hmm. He had the accolade for a while, and then all of a sudden it was like,
John Cena.
You're done.
John Cena happened.
How did John Cena really happen?
It just happened.
I'm talking about recently. John Cena really hasn't been on TV. I'm talking about why Rusev lose the U.S. title. I'm talking about right now.
Oh, because they wanted to put Roman over. Like, everything now, everything on Raw that's happening right now, actually even SmackDown too, and it's kind of an interesting theory. Everything that's happening right now is to get Roman over. Roman winning the U.S. title.
And I think he keeps saying that, but it's like...
But think about it.
But I'm thinking about it, but it's this is another conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy theory of the professor.
During that U.S. title match when Roman Reigns beat Rusev for the title, the fans were cheering for Rusev.
Absolutely, because the good guy is bad, the bad guy is good.
But not just because of that.
Nobody wants to see Roman.
But Rusev had momentum. People were behind him. We're not just talking about the hate Roman part. We're talking about just people having momentum. And because
it was something different. Like I said, so going back to the Royal Rumble right now, you see that Undertaker has the odds to win the Royal Rumble right now.
No, he doesn't. Stop it. Stop it. Don't sit there and tell the people a liar like that. Just stop it.
It's not my words. It's what we read. You read it. I mean,
I know.
It's out there.
I know. I know, and whoever read that should be ashamed of themselves. Not only should they be ashamed of themselves, they should go to a corner, put their head up against the corner, and weep for days, because that's blasphemous.
But my thing is, and you mentioned this, and I think we kind of skipped right past it, was why do we have to have all these old people, like Undertaker, Brock Lesnar? I mean, all we need now is Sting to come out there. We might as well just bring Arn Anderson out there.
I'm saying that we're going to have a superstar die in the ring.
And we don't want that.
It's going to happen.
We don't want that. We don't want that. We've been there already. We don't want that.
Billy and little Susie sitting in the front row at their very first pay-per-view event at WrestleMania is going to watch The Undertaker die for real in the ring, and you'll look at Mommy and say, is he going to pop back up? And then Mommy goes, no, Susie, he's not popping back up. In fact, he's staying down.
Oh, he's just taking a nap.
Oh, yeah, a long nap.
Oh, no, he's just resting in peace.
Or in pieces.
Oh, in pieces. But yeah, I don't know. I think, but ultimately, to wrap it up, the people don't like Roman because he's being force fed to us. We don't like our vegetables. We don't want our vegetables. And right now, he's a vegetable that none of us really like. He has a bitter taste.
I think people like him more if they allowed him to just be the badass.
But how would they do that? Let him come. Should we re-gimmick the old Undertaker American Bad here? Should we bring him out on a motorcycle?
That. Like, the problem is, he can't talk on the mic. He's not his cousin The Rock, which is the other reason why people hate him, because that part of the other
why he's there.
Like, that's part of the other progressive theory right there, because
during
that time, you know, Roman was on top, and the Usos were on top, and Nia Jax was on a rise. Like, let's just stop it. We all know.
Like I said, the Usos are not good.
Come on.
I'll say that Roman's better than the Usos as a tag team.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not gonna lie. I never really liked the Usos. I never thought that they should have been tag champions. I'm interested to see them in individual singles competition. And I know we're moving on. I know we're running out of time because we got to talk about the speed running and some other things here. But give me one superstar that you really want to see pushed in 2017 that's currently on the roster.
See, that's hard because, I mean, honestly, not really a whole lot unless you bring someone up. But then the problem is that whoever that you're going to try to bring up has already made it and is, knocking on 40 or is at 40 already. And by that, I mean Shinsuke Nakamura and Samoa Joe.
Honestly, if it was me, if they already had the New Day not break up, but lose the titles, I want to see Big E do something.
Which I agree with, but the problem is WWE have a problem with black people.
Oh.
Being the man. And I'm going to leave it at that.
All right, well, speaking of speed, we're gonna run right past that one and go straight to Awesome Games Done Quick hosted a charity event that the Professor John Gotti just so happens to love. We technically speed ran in the past, not for a charity, of course, but we have done some speed running in the past. Pretty exciting, intense feeling, especially when you're running with the Professor John Gotti because he knows all the maps, but.
I don't know about that, but...
the Professor John Gotti is the man. I just want everybody to know that. But they've done this charity. Tell the people. Tell them, Hawk.
Well... Oh, wait. Oh, my God. I just went there. Oh, yeah. So, Awesome Games Done Quick. Actually, Games Done Quick is the name of the group. But they do 2 different shows a year. In the wintertime, they call it Awesome Games Done Quick. In the summertime, it's called Summer Games Done Quick. Basically, they play a lot of retro games and sometimes some more recent games. Basically, trying to beat the game as fast as possible, whether it's through glitch or faulty coding or the programmer's point. And they do it for charity. They do it for this one. They're actually doing it for Prevent Cancer Foundation, which is a pretty good foundation to donate for. And they also do it for Doctors Without Borders as well too. I enjoy it because it's a lot of games that either I've seen and never played before that I probably want to try, or games that I have played before and made me realize, hey, I could probably do this a lot faster by using some of these tricks. A la what the doctor referenced earlier on, as far as me finding little tricks to beat games a little bit more faster. But
become the GOAT.
But they basically do this for a whole week. They started on Sunday. They're actually going to finish on the 15th. next Sunday as well too. And actually today the main highlight that I seen was a Mega Man X, which is for the Super Nintendo 4-player race, which is pretty awesome. It was pretty hype. One of my favorite runners, Caleb Hart, unfortunately didn't win it, but he did like my tweet, just me letting him know, hey, you did pretty good. You'll get him next time, so he enjoyed that. But the community, the speedrun gaming community, is just very intimate. They don't. It's too sweet. You're right, sir. But they basically embrace people. They want people to join in. Everyone help each other out. Like, it's a great community. I had some talks with some of them on Twitter before. Like, it just makes me want to try it as well too. So maybe one day I can get the doctor to start solo speedrunning some games. And we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully I can also talk to him about trying some games himself.
I will never do it by myself, sir. You just forget about it. I don't know where I'm going. I just sit there and look like a fool running in circles. And just, honestly, if I play those games, you already know, I'll start running. I'll probably start out the first 15 seconds running strong, and then I'll get caught and basically die.
That's funny.
Just saying. But I know we're running a little lower on time. We should probably start hitting into our final comments here. But speedrunning is great. I definitely think people should definitely check it out. But speaking of speedrunning and being on Twitch, we recently went on Twitch as of yesterday, playing a little Borderlands 2 under Debate Amongst Friends, of course. I am on Twitch, Dr. Wednesday Night, as well as Prof. John Gotti. Definitely check us out. Follow us on there. We will be trying to come up with a schedule on how, what games we're going to play, when we're going to play them. And hey, maybe one day you'll see us doing some speed running on these games. Maybe go back and play a little Left 4 Dead for old time's sakes. But any last words, Professor, to leave the guest with today?
Yeah, I mean, just going back to the whole wrestling situation, if you're bringing someone in and they're completely new and they go through NXT and they got themselves a gathering, once they reach the main roster, give them a chance. Give them a chance to do something. Something is better than nothing. Let's do something. Like, get it together, WWE. Get it together. Stop it. Don't stop being ashamed of yourself right now.
Knock it off.
Knock it off. Yo, knock it off. Anywho, we're going to leave you tonight with a track by an artist named Token. We played one of his tracks before, but this song was pretty good. We decided to do it again. The name of the track is Exceptions. It's a really, really good song. We're going to put the link out there for everyone to listen to it. It's from his debut mixtape called Eraser Shavings. I listen to it a lot when I'm at work. Highly enjoyable. But we're going to leave you off with that. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. I am Professor John Gotti.
And I am Dr. Wednesday Night himself.
And we'll catch you again next week, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are at Debates Among Friends, and have yourself a good evening. Peace and love.
Deuces.
There they go again, harassing this kid so easily. His name is Andy, he grew up right down the street from me. I barely know him, though I just see him in school while passing him. Usually followed by two kids giggling in back of him. I don't know why they feel the need to interfere, and I'll be honest, the kid is obviously a little weird. He's got a stutter, plus always talks to himself, but it is clear to me that shouldn't mess with him. He probably wish they disappeared, like yeah, he's different. So, he ain't causing harm to anyone. Yeah, he might annoy him on purpose, though he's never done something intentionally offensive like these other kids, like yelling stop being a retard when they see him mumbling or call him a faggot when he's saying something awkward. Yeah, he lives with it, but he shouldn't have to any longer. He's just a kid like any of us. And matter of fact, next time I see it, I'ma say something that have his back. day ain't any better. They're abusing him. Every day gets worse cause people accept it as they become used to it. And he don't stand up, but what can you do with that hate against you? You call him out, you call the spaz with some anger issues. They hear but they don't listen. Senseless, they hearing that bullies are everywhere, thinking that here must be the exception. But it's so alive and it's so true. They got open eyes but they don't view. They got growing minds but they don't use. And it's pulverizing our whole youth. But to be honest, most of these bullies don't mean any harm. They're just kids like any of us. They like to be in charge, they like attention. They just lack guidance and getting it, so they put others down. None of us are always innocent, but that don't make it right. Cause again I'm watching Andy get tortured by two of his peers with no reason in sight. And I know he knows I watch and he sees me paying attention. And it's getting worse and worse. I hope he knows that I respect him. Show up to school and I was nervous. He always came to this class, I wondered what was the purpose. The same class had the two kids who've been messing with him, but without a target, both of them just blended right in. 20 minutes later, the class was pretty quiet. As Andy walks through the door, he was shaking and crying. As old heads slowly in sync turn, he pauses, then pulls a pistol out of his front pocket. The girl screamed, the boy sat there terrified. Nobody expected this, but everyone knew the reason why. And before anyone could say something fully, within seconds, 2 bullets flew into his bullies. All screams as the bodies collapsed. I felt I should say something, cause I was the only one who had his back. I said, it's over, Andy, they're dead. You had your wish. He turned to me and said, you were the third on our list.